This video is brought to you by Answerly, a question platform that pays you for adding high-quality answers on different questions. The users are rewarded in Answerly tokens, which they can easily convert into dollars or any other cryptocurrency by using one of the exchanges mentioned in the description.
The best way to ruin Ant-Man and all of the jerks on the Revengers movie is to wipe them out. I always hated those cheesy.
It takes a lot of courage to do what a lot of Marvel villains do, challenging some of the most skilled and powerful heroes around. Many Marvel villains are known for their bravery. Some of these dangerous and intimidating villains can be quite cowardly, but not all of them. It takes certain wherewithal to do what a lot of villains do, challenging some of the most skilled and powerful heroes around. It doesn't matter how many times they lose, they just keep going, battling their foes and trying to win. Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about Marvel villains from best to worst. If you're new here, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notifications bell to get updates whenever we post. You probably know that in the MCU, one of the most famous villains to appear in the saga was Thanos. What if I told you that there are a lot more worst villains to exist outside the Marvel Cinematic Universe other than Thanos and Ultron, to name a few? These villains are the most dangerous. They've done nothing good for the world, existing only to spread misery and destruction. The Magus, or the darkness inside Adam Warlock.
Korvac.
Adam Warlock is one of the purest heroes in the Marvel Universe, but in another universe, things turned out very differently for him. He became the Magus and enslaved the galaxy, fooling everyone using a new religion that he was the head of. Warlock would defeat him and close off his universe, but the Magus has returned several times, even gaining the Infinity Gauntlet. The Magus is all of the darkness inside of Adam Warlock, with none of the good. He's a rapacious monster, existing only to destroy and control all in his way. Onslaught, the pure evil. Onslaught came from the unholy union of Professor X and Magneto, as Magneto's evil infected savior when he mind-wiped the mutant master of magnetism. This created a terrible composite being, one who stayed hidden for a time before attacking the Marvel Universe, kidnapping Franklin Richards and X-Man, and unleashing a fleet of reprogrammed Sentinels on New York. Onslaught would commit terrible deeds during his attacks and has reared his ugly head several times over the years. Unleashed by the Orchis Initiative on Krakoa, he almost eradicated the mutant race before being stopped not by battle but by the power of love. Dormammu, the darkest of Dark Lords. Dormammu is one of Doctor Strange's greatest foes and a constant threat to all of existence. As the ruler of the Dark Dimension, he desires nothing more than the conquest of everything that is. Dormammu is the type of being who, even if all existence is threatened, won't lift a finger to help, instead of waiting to destroy the weakened victor after the battle is over. There is no good in Dormammu. He's the darkest of the dark, the master of a dimension of monsters. His power makes him a near unstoppable threat, and there's nothing to him but the desire to destroy all in his way. Annihilus, the brutal monster from the Negative Zone. Annihilus is one of the most dangerous beings in the Marvel Universe. Hailing from the Negative Zone, the insectoid conqueror possesses the Cosmic Control Rod, which grants him incalculable power and the ability to control others. He's the master of the Annihilation Wave and lives to destroy or control everything in his way. Annihilus is an inhumane engine of destruction. He's almost destroyed the entire universe with the Annihilation Wave, and there are no good deeds that can be attributed to him. He only exists to sate his ravenous hunger. Nimrod, Mutant's Destroyer. The Sentinels are one of the most dangerous threats to mutant kind, and the most dangerous Sentinels are the Nimrod units. Nimrods are the ultimate Sentinels, armed with the most powerful weapons and countermeasures. A Nimrod has only one purpose in all the world, and that's to destroy mutants. While its creators think that's a good thing, it's terrible. Nimrods know nothing but destruction. They exist to lead the Sentinels in the war against mutant kind, and their entire existence is meant to commit genocide against an entire race. There is nothing noble or good about them, as they are little more than tools of death. Thumbelina. Speaking of fat villains, here's another one named Thumbelina. As part of the Mutant Liberation Front, Thumbelina used her mutant powers to shrink down her considerable body size and engage in all sorts of espionage missions. And even though she wasn't as ruthless as a lot of other mutants in the Mutant Liberation Front, that didn't stop Iceman from turning her into a giant frozen popsicle and taking her into custody when the X-Men raided the group's headquarters in an effort to stop them from committing global acts of terror. A shrinking fat lady with one of the worst haircuts the Marvel Universe has ever seen. That pretty much Thumbelina in a nutshell. White Rabbit. Born to a wealthy family and overprotective parents, Lorena found solace reading countless books in the family library and was practically enchanted with Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. Later in life, Lorena married a rich elderly man named Lewis Dodson, but she quickly became bored with her trophy wife status and decided to kill him off so she could be more free to do the things she wanted. Apparently, those things included buying a whole bunch of high-tech gadgets and establishing a criminal name for herself as the whimsical villain White Rabbit. Using a host of cliché gimmicks including rabbit bunnies, razor carrots, and of course, a giant armored mecha assault rabbit, White Rabbit tried hard to pull off a few capers, but was ultimately stopped by Spider-Man while attempting to steal, you guessed it, Easter eggs. Asbestos Lady. Talk about an unfortunate choice in costume materials. Asbestos Lady first appeared in comics back in 1947 when asbestos was at its height in popularity. Since asbestos is extremely resistant to heat and flames, Asbestos Lady was naturally an adversary for the Human Torch and even created asbestos-made bullets so she could puncture his fiery defenses. However, as the hazards of long-time asbestos exposure became better known, Asbestos Lady fell victim herself to the carcinogenic fiber, and in 1990, she finally died of cancer. Good on Marvel for teaching us all about the dangers of asbestos though. Stiltman. Daredevil really does seem to attract the worst villains, but the price for the corniest adversary he's ever gone toe-to-toe with would have to go to Stiltman. This cruddy criminal figured if he made himself a suit with some high-rising telescopic legs, then he would be an unstoppable force capable of pulling off some daring above-ground floor heists. It's still unclear whether or not Stiltman was always a joke or if the writers originally intended him to pose a serious threat. In any case, he arose to fight Daredevil on several occasions and even went so far as to almost kill the man without fear when he quickly shortened his legs to duck under a high-flying tackle attack. Of course, he's always easily defeated in the end, since all you need to do to render him powerless is to punch him over. He's literally a pushover. And as if one crazy character on stilts wasn't enough, the maniacs at Marvel also went so far as to create the copycat villain, Lady Stiltman. Egghead. Sporting some imposing girth and misshapen cranial features, Egghead appeared in Tales to Astonish 38 as a rival, and eventually arch-nemesis of Ant-Man, Hank Pym. One of Egghead's most memorable evil schemes involved him taking control of ants and using them to steal information so he could devise a formula that prevents aging. And if you're thinking that doesn't really sound evil at all, well, you might be right. But he also teamed up with a bunch of other geniuses to steal documents from the Library of Alexandria in an attempt to, learn about things and get smarter. Okay, that's not too bad either. Apparently, Egghead was just a guy who loved books and wanted to find a cure for aging. Too bad Hawkeye had to kill him by shooting an arrow into the barrel of his gun and causing it to misfire when he threatened to shoot Ant-Man in the back. Comics are a space for wacky and wonderful ideas. While some of these villains are likely to be appearing as major threats in movies anytime soon, there'll also be a place for dumb bad guys within the pages of Marvel comic books. These are the list of some of the Marvel's villains from best and worst. Let us know which villain you think that didn't make it in our list in the comment section down below. If you like this video, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. To learn more about Answerly and Answerly tokens, check out the links in the description.